everybody. Today, July 28th, 2018, 2018. We are here in Tokyo. Only in Tokyo. Takai-san is not joining us today. ちょっと寂しいですが、let's have a good Saturday afternoon session with the three of us. Later on, we will be joined by Ohashi. So what have we been doing? We have been looking at European culture, history, and today we have a look at Western philosophy. So we have had a look at Confucianism. Today we are going to discuss Western philosophy and make parallels with Confucianism based on Uno-san's book that he wrote about Confucianism. We are trying to make some parallels and note the differences between the two. Hopefully that will help us to better understand the roots and the way of thinking that exists in Japan and Europe. So what does philosophy mean? Literally, it means the love of wisdom. It is actually very closely related to liberal arts. It studies. It has its roots and studies almost everything. It includes math, poetry, biology, physics, political science, astronomy. And in Western philosophy, it tries to answer the big questions, metaphysical questions, the fundamental nature of the world. Is there a God? Do we have a soul? Will we live after we die? The nature of an art of knowledge. Is what I see, does that really exist? So, for example, is what we are observing real? We had a look at Plato's Prisoners, and which actually says that what we observe merely shadows on the wall. So the reality could be different. It is not sure that what I am observing through my eyes is exactly the same as what Kimoto is observing through his eyes. But the only thing that we have in common is definition. So what is real? What exists? What doesn't exist? So that's another element of Western philosophy. And then finally we have the value theory, and that comes close to Confucian philosophy. How should we live? What rules should we follow? Which road should we take in order to become enlightened people? And one thing that is very typical for Western philosophy is that it always, whether it's metaphysics, epistemology, or value theory, is that it follows logic, reasoning, giving arguments, argumentation, and usually it follows basically by following logical deduction or induction, we arrive at a conclusion. So this is something that also is very important in Western philosophy. Logic, the following of logic. If there's one thing that you need to remember about Western society is that if a Western person generally doesn't want to be inconsistent or illogical, if you can trap a Western person in illogical. Gee, Uno-san, 食べられる? That looks so karai.
Very dangerous. Dangerous.
You cannot eat it. No, you cannot.
Maybe European people couldn't eat.
I can eat, but...
But I'll eat is one thing, but then to go to toilet, how's that?
No problem for me.
Really?
Mm.
Can I try that? One piece?
I don't, you had better not.
No?
No. Too risky. You can eat
Daiji
just
buto.
pistachio.
Ah.
That's okay.
辛いやつは。まあ。Alright, so logical reason, deduction, induction, following clear logic is very important, and I think that this is a big difference with Japanese way of thinking, which is not. Well, I think there are parallel truths in Japan. That this is not really. Kimoto-san is.
He's Chinese.
Do?
Good.
Yeah?
Good.
I want to try one.
No problem.
I want to try one. もうすごい。
はい。
Very hot, but I could eat.
Start.
Surprisingly, not so hot. Not so hot.
Not so hot. Yeah.
Not so hot. How come it's not so hot? Maybe because it's dry? Okay.
Una-san, why you bought it? To get a diet?
Diet?
No, I like
Kakene.
it.
Oh.
I like
Where did you order it? Directly
it.
from? Oh.
But this is made in China, but the price is 3 times higher than ask him to buy in China. 1,000.
It's your fault, Kimoto-san. Unu-san needs to spend money. Okay. So, going down into Western philosophy, we had a look at Pythagoras, and Pythagoras was one of the pre-Socratic philosophers. Pre-Socratic, Socrates was a major milestone in Western philosophy.
Oh, last week short video?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Pythagoras.
Yeah. So Pythagoras was basically questioning everything, but he strongly believed that the truth was to be found in mathematics. So that the mathematics could describe everything, from music to everything, like the way that the planets work, that the world works. But he also had he philosophized about so where do we come from? Is the soul part of us, like physically part of us, or is it transcendent? Does the soul continue to live or not? Is there such a thing as maybe reincarnation or moving the soul from one vehicle to the next? And he believed that the last to be true. That basically by being a good person, you could finally escape your vehicle and live forever, so independent of your vehicle. So that was basically Earth, and I think that has parallels in Buddhism. So Pythagoras was a very interesting character. He was a kind of a cult leader. What makes him actually pre-Socratic is that he had a lot of followers and a lot of people believed in Pythagoras, and there were things in Pythagoras that he could not explain throughout his theory. What Socrates introduced was the Socratic questioning and following logic and basically trying to falsify.
Socrates' question is dialogue.
Dialogue, yes.
Yeah.
So dialogue. So critical questioning, trying to expose and finding a truth through Socratic questioning. So the pre-Socratic. So what was also in the video that we saw was that because of very inconvenient truths that they found, for example, the square root of 2 was not was not a logical number. Therefore, it kind of like made them embarrassed, and the people who pointed it out apparently had been drowned at the time. So that is that makes it pre-Socratic. It was not so much truth finding, but more kind of projecting the reality and for other people to accept, like a religion. Since Socrates, it was definitely not religious. It was more trying to find the truth, which put philosophy sometimes also at odds with the church, because not everybody would conclude that there exists a God.
はい、皆さんこんにちは、雲野です。今日はですね、雲野塾の研修のプログラムをご紹介したいと思います。で、こういうふうなホームページありますけれども、ぜひですね、一度中身をご覧になっていただきたいと思います。今日はブーキューブさんのスタジオに来て、この収録をしておりますので、中身はこういうふうになってて、今最近ホットなね、グローバルリーダーの定義など書いてあります。で、特に経団連が作成しました留学すれば英語ができて専門性を持つというだけではですね、グローバルリーダーになれないとここに書いてありますようにですね、仕事ができる、専門性を持つ、英語ができるだけじゃなくてですね、私どもの塾ではリベラルアーツということと、それからもう一つは孫子の平和、さらにはですね、日本の歴史というものを合わせて教えることによって皆さんが海外の欧米の方々と、もしくは華僑圏の方々と正々堂々と渡り合えるような人物を育成しようというふうなことを考えています。ここに次のスライドが出ておりますけれども、ここに書いてありますのはですね、さらに、私どもの雲野塾の中身につきましてはですね、欧米の資料しか使っておりません。また実際に雲野塾は英語でやっておりますので、英語の講師がこう話しておりますけど、学習はですね、日本の歴史をまだ教えてますので、学習の午後はですね、日本のプログラムをしております。で、以前はこれ有料だったので、今はですね、実際に会場費も取っていただいておりませんで、毎回5000円ということで、朝9時から午後5時までやっておりますので、ぜひ皆さんですね、ご検討の上ご参加いただければと。英語のできない方もですね、学習の午後こういうふうな研修をしておりますので、ぜひご参加いただければというふうに思っておりますので、よろしくお願いします。で、ここにさらにですね、グループ討議とか実務の勘どころを教えると書いてありますけど、実際には私が10年ほどですね、欧米の新聞とか雑誌等をですね、集めてきた、もともと英語のベースでございますので、そうしたものをですね、50セッションのテーマに分けて資料を作成しております。そういうことで、世界のオペレーション、もしくはカントリーリスクも含めてですね、しかも世界のトップの方々に対してもいろいろな分析とか洞察をしてですね、議論をしております。そういったことも含めてですね、今後ともよろしくお願いしたいと思います。以上で私の挨拶を終えますが、今回のこのビデオの収録にあたってはですね、V キューブさんのスタジオをお借りしてですね、お時間を頂戴して、このビデオを作成させていただきました。よろしくお願いします。どうもありがとうございました。